The Access to Capital educational series, The Fundamentals of Startup Financing, is made possible by the generous financial support of the Truist Foundation. Access to Capital is an educational program of Verge and its affiliates, RAMP, the Regional Accelerator, Roanoke-Blacksburg Technology Council, and its partners, the Launch Place, the Appalachian Council for Innovation, and Blue Ridge PBS.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
Thank you for being with us today.
Sure.
We're
Glad to be here.
excited to learn about angel investing today, and specifically the Commonwealth Angels. I'd love to learn more about the Angels and your role in the organization.
Sure. So myself and my partner Russ Ellis and I started Commonwealth Angels almost 4 years ago now. And both of us have been active in the innovation ecosystem with Verge and other organizations. And one of the things we all know we need that entrepreneurs need, I should say, is access to capital. And we're very fortunate to have James Ramey and the Virginia Tech Carillion Fund that is very active in our region, but additionally we needed an angel group. And so Russ and I had many conversations. A few angel groups had been stood up in the last 10 to 15, 20 years around the region that had some levels of success but didn't have staying power. And so Russ and I decided to put together Commonwealth Angels in a slightly different fashion. That is a volunteer organization that's not a formal fund, not any committed money, but basically putting together a group of investors who were interested in, one, getting a return on their money, obviously, but also helping regional entrepreneurs have access to cash and mentorship in a lot of ways. And so we see a lot of interesting businesses that come through our doors and have high hopes and full confidence that in the future there'll be even an increasing number.
Great, great. What geographic footprint are you looking at for a startup?
So it's really Region 2, the Go Virginia Region 2, from Lynchburg down to Southwest Virginia. We've had some entrepreneurs from outside the region come in and pitch to us. We don't actively seek those out, but we will listen to entrepreneurs from outside the region. But really our focus is Region 2. Great.
What stage of the startup are you looking for? How far do they need to be along the startup process?
Yeah, it's seed stage is ideal,
okay.
But we get entrepreneurs at different levels. Many, frankly, that aren't ready for funding yet, and we take that responsibility to help coach and guide entrepreneurs and give them feedback and let them know when we think they're ready for funding. And so part of our work is not just hearing pitches, taking those entrepreneurs to the angels, but also giving people perspective on things they should do to be better prepared at maybe a different stage in their development to have a higher likelihood of raising money.
Great, great. What does the process look like? So if an entrepreneur is at this stage and they're in Region 2, what does the process look like to be involved?
So there are multiple ways of connecting, whether it's a collision at a Verge event with myself or Russ. Greg Feldman is now also working with us and does a lot of active work for Commonwealth Angels. We get solicitations through our website. We get references that come in, but basically our process is much less science and more instinct. One of the three of us talk to an entrepreneur. If we think that the idea and the entrepreneur and the team have some interesting staying power and some interesting potential, then the three of us get together with that entrepreneur. We go in depth on their background and their business and their idea and what they're trying to pursue. We have them put together a trial run of a pitch. And if the three of us think that it is interesting and that our angels will feel it is interesting and that we think it has potential to be a success in the region, then we schedule a pitch. We invite our 75 angels to attend the pitch. The angels get to hear the pitch and then decide whether they opt in or not into the investment round.
Great, great. What type of sectors are you interested in?
So we're really exclusively technology and life sciences. I mean, there's a lot of good things happening, as you and I both know, in our region, but our focus is on technology and life science areas.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, from a Verge perspective, we're looking at how to grow our technology and biotech sector, so
No
we
doubt.
really appreciate that support. What steps should someone, if they're preparing to be ready for an angel round of funding, how should they prepare to be ready?
So I think having a good mentor helps. And I know at Verge we do a lot on the mentorship side, but having a mentor who can help guide you and give you perspective, hopefully unfiltered perspective on your idea, your business plan, the market potential, and your team is a really good start before you go seek advice of an angel group. Now that doesn't always happen, and that's fine, but if there is that opportunity to have a mentor or multiple mentors, I think that's an advantage. And by doing so, when that entrepreneur gets to an angel group, whether it's Commonwealth Angels or 757 Angels, then there's a better chance to have faster success on getting close to raising a round without doing so.
Great. How do you typically structure an investment deal?
So we really do convertible debt notes as our preference. It's much easier on everybody, much less expensive, a much faster process. At the end of the day, at this stage, it's very risky, obviously, and structured note allows us, if the investment wins, we win, and the entrepreneur wins. If it fails, it fails, and neither party has had to, spend undue amounts of legal effort, time, diligence, and money unnecessarily.
I know that you've been really involved in RAMP since it began. How do you perceive companies that have gone through an accelerator? Does that help them prepare for a round of funding, and how does the accelerator play a role?
Yeah, I actually, although I am biased because I have a great affinity for RAMP and think it serves a really vital need in our region, whatever accelerator the entrepreneur comes through, I just think it helps to formalize things. It helps them be better thinkers. It helps them look at their business in a different way. All of us entrepreneurs fall in love with our ideas and fall in love with opportunities, and sometimes we may miss critical questions, critical tasks that need to be done. And specifically for RAMP, we see that the entrepreneurs who go through RAMP first and then seek our funding have a greater chance to land the funding, but also are much better prepared to have future success and raise future rounds.
Yeah, and you mentioned mentors earlier. A big part of RAMP is we align the companies with a mentor to be ready for capital and the next stages, customer discovery, things like that.
Yeah, so the education side of RAMP is critical and is really important, but I think nothing is as important as a mentor, and my young success, or my success, is founded I don't think by me necessarily, but it's by the mentors who guided me, put their arm around me, and were willing to say, hey, that's a crazy idea, or don't do this, or why did you handle that employee this way or that way? And so I do think what we provide via mentorship for entrepreneurs in the region is critical and is a significant component of their success.
Yeah, absolutely. Another part of the Verge portfolio is RBTC, the Roanoke-Blacksburg Technology Council. How has the Commonwealth Angel Group used RBTC to network with entrepreneurs?
So the RBTC also has a important spot in my heart. A lot of my success was founded because of the networking that happened when I was a young entrepreneur, the friendships that I created, the mentors that I stumbled into that would not have stumbled into without a networking event, whether it's a breakfast or a social in the evening. So Commonwealth uses that same network. As more entrepreneurs get funding through Commonwealth, then the word starts to spread. And Russ and I both, and Greg as well, when we are at Verge events or RBTC events, we are increasingly getting approached to talk about potential funding. And again, a lot of it is funding that doesn't need to happen tomorrow, but entrepreneurs want to go ahead and start having conversations so they know what they need to do to prepare and to get ready for future funding.
Great. Was there anything else you would like to share about the Commonwealth angels that we haven't covered?
No, I would just say, if you're an entrepreneur, seek a mentor first. If you don't have a mentor, seek a mentor first, ask for advice, have your head up and be realistic on the process, and reach out, and we'll go through the steps, and we're very comfortable to say yes, and we're very comfortable to say no as well, and are excited to play that role in the region.
Great. Well, thank you for being with me today.
Sure.
I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, John, for joining us today. We're excited to learn about your organization, the 757 Angels, and hear about your role with the Angel Group on the eastern side of our state.
Well, thank you, Aaron. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm really encouraged to hear that all parts of the state are beginning to focus on entrepreneurship, maybe a little bit more than I've seen in my career. As to Angels itself. A couple facts first, and then I'll give you a little background. The facts are that it's been kind of crazy. We were formed in 2015. That's when our first investment was made. Since then, we've invested in 42 companies. We have 123 members. There's been 490 checks written, and we're just a tad over $100 million invested right now.
Wow.
So the groups, which has been sort of shocking because I remember the first meeting I went to, Aaron, we weren't sure if anybody'd show up, and some people did. And since then, it's just kind of built on itself.
Great. How long have you guys been in existence? When did you start?
We started at the end of 2014. There was a group here called Hampton Roads Charitable Foundation that wanted to, very thoughtful, WN is a big leader there, and they wanted to figure out what could the area do better. We have an odd area. We have so many cities that are not on the same page sometimes. So the idea was to figure out, is there a way to get all the cities to kind of come together and work towards a common goal of making this area a place for all of our children to come back to someday and come work in. That was sort of the vision. And so he put together a group of 15 people to figure out what we might do. We looked at mentoring, we looked at incubators, we looked at a whole bunch of different things. And we came up with, just like the meeting I just heard with Kevin, we came up with the idea that capital was probably the most important thing, because there really wasn't any organized capital. There's no venture funds here. So we voted on that. And then we said, a guy named Paul Hirschbiel, who is just a fabulous ex-venture capitalist who's from this area, who led our group. And I were asked to figure out what might work. So we created what has become 757 Angels, which was set up a little uniquely then. I had seen other angel groups, and we never really knew when they were going to talk to us and when they were going to talk to our companies, and we didn't know who would invest. We didn't really understand. So we said, we want to set one up that's pretty organized. So we meet 3 times a year. People know when to get their applications in. They know when they're going to be heard. And to attract the investors, I knew that in some of these angel funds, a lot of them were charging a carried interest, which is like a fee. So 10%, 20% of the profits would go to the group. And the higher net worth folks we knew they were going to get presented the deals anyway. So it didn't make any sense to charge a fee. So we figured out a way to pay for it with contributions from members. So that's been our budget. Our budget's just been member fees, and the higher net worth guys in town, they're part of it, and they've been very helpful.
Great.
The best thing we did, I will tell you, Aaron, this is important. This is really important. The best thing we did is we hired Monique Adams early. Okay. And she's just been a superstar, rock star for us.
Great. So she's paid staff that leads the organization.
She's the executive director. Right now we have, fast forward, we're a little more organized now. At first it was sort of Paul, Monique, and I sitting in a room on a whiteboard, throwing stuff up on the wall. And then, now it's pretty crazy if you come here. It's actually pretty crazy. It's pretty cool. The whole, I heard Kevin talking about ecosystem. We actually have one here now. There's this thing called 757 Collab, which got some money from Go Virginia. Underneath that, you've got 757 Angels now. We used to be on our own. Now we're over here, 757 Accelerate, which is an accelerator like Ramp. And then we have 757 Startup Studios, which is earlier. And they're all kind of connected, and they all kind of work together.
That's great. It's really interesting across the state how each ecosystem is developing out and growing.
Yeah.
That's great. Going back to the 757 Angels, what types of companies are you looking for? What sector are you focused on?
What I did, it's interesting. I pulled some data because we have some here. In terms of sectors, the only sector that we are not very good in, I shouldn't say only. One sector we're not very good in, we don't really try too hard, is biotech stuff. We're just not sure we know enough to know who's going to win. But I did look at our companies that we've done. 13 have been just straight software companies, 3 medical device, 5 hardware companies, hospitality, there's 4, cybersecurity, internet retail. We've done some life sciences a little bit, and then food and beverage. So we're pretty broad. We're not a specialist in anything.
Okay.
But we're open to companies that have a sizzle,
Yeah, I like that. Companies with a sizzle.
That's what we're looking for. Yeah,
great.
Teams with a sizzle.
Great. At what stage are you looking for the companies to be at for your group to invest?
It's interesting. It's kind of wild. We like Kevin, I would say, if you think of development as friends and family, and then pre-seed, and then seed, and then let's just call it Series A and what follows. Most of ours have been either pre-seed or seed. Having said that, there's been a couple that were further beyond, which just became really good opportunities for us. There was a company called Putt Shack, which is a nationwide. The founders of Topgolf founded a putting thing. It's pretty cool, and so they kind of came in out of nowhere. So we'll check the value of the company as we see it, and we're not great. We're not perfect at this, but we try. But most of them, I would say, are pre-seed and seed. And then another part that's important is our members are very supportive. Once they've invested in a company, a lot of our money, our numbers are kind of crazy, but a lot of our money is follow-on offerings. So these companies, everybody thinks they come in and they raise money one time and they're done. They're never done. There's always going to be another round and another round.
Yeah.
And what we've been pretty good at, our members have been, not us, our members have been really good at is they believe in a company, continuing to keep them alive and keep them growing.
That's great. That's great news. Next question I want to ask you is geographical footprint. Are you open to companies outside the 757 footprint?
We are. It kind of started as a passion play, local. Hampton Roads only. And then, so early on, that was the focus. And then we ran into a really good company in Northern Virginia. And then we ran into a really good company in Richmond. And then we ran into a really good company down in your area. And so we had to balance, a focus on the Hampton Roads area for sure, with getting the best companies for our members so that they could have the best opportunity to do well. So we're open to the whole state of Virginia right now. If it's a tie, Aaron, we'll probably pick a local company. Yeah. But if it's not a tie, we'll go out there. And we listen to, I think you and I talked. Jim Ramey's been a really important mentor for us, giving us background on companies and tremendous respect for what he's doing in your area. Yeah. And what Kevin's doing. I was listening to Kevin. You sound like us. He sounds just like us in our second year when we were kind of, I don't know, what do you want to do now? We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about your accelerator in the 757 area. Can you talk a little bit about how companies can prepare for an angel round of funding? What advice would you give to an entrepreneur?
Well, it's funny. We have a guy, his name's Gary Warren, who is a 3-time entrepreneur who's got a company called IV Watch, which is our biggest investment. He's a really good friend of mine. He still believes, and so do I, that the most important thing, obviously team, customers, total addressable market, all the normal vetting points. But he really believes, and I do too, that the thing that people seem to overlook now is they're in too much of a hurry to do a deck and not enough of a hurry to do a business plan. And business plans are a pain in the butt. They're hard. They make you think, sales and marketing, all the different subsets. It's sexy to show pictures. So, I mean, what we've seen is the companies that come in really organized with a good plan tend to do better. So I challenge people, when I mentor them, to take some time and write down. I mean, go to Business Plans for Dummies if you want. They're all the same. Just go someplace and get something that gives you some organization to your various aspects of your business. So it shows that you've thought about these things, and not just shows that you thought about them, but you actually did think about them. So I'd start there. Then you find somebody who knows somebody. What's good about Angels is it used to be here in town in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, that you had to know somebody to know where the guys with the money were, men and women who had the money that would like to invest. Now you can go straight to Angels and, without even knowing anybody, which is much more efficient. And then you'll get to them. And then I can talk about the process Angels goes through if you'd like, but
Yeah, absolutely.
that's the most important thing is be ready, be prepared, do your homework, write up a plan, find somebody who knows somebody, and then go talk to them.
Great. That's great advice. Yeah, I would love to hear about how you structure your deals and how your group thinks about.
Here's how it works, Aaron. We again, we have 3 meetings a year, so it's published in advance when the deadline is for companies to get their materials in. You go to Gust. It's good. It's not great. It's good. It's good enough, and you get all your materials in. And then what happens then is, and those are anywhere. The first meeting, I think we had like 3. And then, now we've had as many as 50. So what Monique and Daniel Clark do, who are the 2 people who vet the companies first, they will sit down. It's unreal. They will sit down for 2 hours with every company and go through everything. And some are not even close to being ready, but we commit to staying with them and going through it. And they get tremendous advice from Monique and Daniel. After that, Monique will talk to people, and then we'll have a board meeting. And our board is 20 people. I mean, it's real people who actually show up and do a lot of work. And I have tremendous love for every one of our people because the board is so supportive. It's crazy. So they'll come to a meeting, and at that meeting, Monique typically will present 7 to 8 companies as potentials for our meeting.
Okay.
And then she'll go through them, and then we hear it and we pick usually 5. And then the board signs up and says, hey, I'll go vet this company. So we have everybody goes off for the next 2 weeks and vets the companies. And then we come back and the companies appear, 5 companies, 10 minutes discussion, 5 minutes questions. And then we pick. And we pick 3, 2 or 3. And then we go to the member meeting, which is usually like 3 weeks later. And at the meeting, we go through our normal stuff, and then they get 15 minutes to present, 10 minutes to ask questions. And then we have a 5-minute, the most important period, I think, is after the questions, they leave. And then we have a big group vetting thing.
Okay.
And everybody talks about whatever they want to talk about, ask questions. And then and then there's a polling system where you say on your computer, it's pretty cool. When Monique started it, I was like, I don't know. But now it's like awesome. So you hit a button, interested, not interested, whatever. And then we have a universe of people that are interested, and then we go from there.
Great. Well, it sounds like you guys have a great structure and a great group. We're so thankful for your advice today and you spending time with us.
Sure.
We can't wait to spend time with you in 757.
Well, that's great, Aaron. Thank you very much. Thank you for what y'all are doing.
Yeah, thank you.